Before I get started, I'd like everyone to just make a fist and stick your middle knuckle out and just punch yourself real good in the leg. And we'll just go ahead and explain the reason for that in a little bit. Just, I wanted to hold the suspense, you know. This is my first time in Utah County, and well, telling jokes in Utah County. Obviously, I mean, I've passed by here on my way to Vegas to do the devil's work, but I've only stopped in Provo like a handful of times in the last few years, and the one thing I've noticed every time I stop is like half the population is running. What is the obsession with running here? Even tonight, like I just see all these people like running around town. Where is everyone running to? And it's just kind of crazy, and I would like to say that I like to run, but somebody told me what I do is too slow to call running, so I'm just going to say I like to jog, but I'd be afraid to do it here, because I've heard the laws are a little tighter, and I just think it'd be so embarrassing to get pulled over by a police officer for going under the jogging speed limit. Okay, so when I think of Provo, the first thing I think about is jogging. You guys are going to like this. Jogging first. The second thing I think about is marriage. And some people get married because they're in love or they want to share their life with someone. From what I understand, if you live in Provo, it's okay to get married if you don't want to do your own laundry or get your own job. But I don't know, because I got married because I had to. Actually had to because I was tired of pretending to be nice. And don't act like you don't know what I'm saying too. Because it is a lot of work trying to convince someone that they want to spend their whole life with you, or like maybe even eternity. I was excited when we got married because I thought, well, I'm going to have someone to sleep next to for my whole entire life. That's going to be great. And some people say that they don't like to sleep alone. But now that I've had a little experience, I think the people that say that have never woken up in the middle of the night next to a man and thought, what is that smell? My husband, that lucky fellow, he says he hates when I'm in bad moods. But yeah, if I'm like in a really bad mood, it's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. And he starts like doing dishes and scrubbing the floor, cleaning the bathroom. He offers to cook dinner. And he's like, I hate when you're in a bad mood. And I'm like, if you really hated it that bad, you probably shouldn't reward me so well for it. This last anniversary, I made him plan the anniversary. And he called me up and said, well, what do you want to do for our anniversary? And I said, you know, honey, really, it can be anything. Because pretty much whatever you choose is going to be better than that year you took me to Costco with the kids for a hot dog dinner. And he did do better. He took me to a nice restaurant. But I just can't get the Costco incident out of my head. And it's just barely that I thought of like the perfect revenge, so I can't wait till our next anniversary. I've already told him, you know, I've got everything covered. And when we were first dating, me and my friend, like early on, me and my friend blindfolded him and his friend, and we said that where we were taking him was going to be a surprise. So for our next anniversary, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to blindfold you, because remember when we were first dating, and we took you someplace that was a surprise? Well, I just wanted to remember the good old days. And then I'm going to take him to a club where people dance, because he said that's the one place he would never, ever, ever go. And I can't wait to see the look on his face when I take off the blindfold and say, oh, you said you'd never be here, huh? Happy anniversary, honey. So marriage really is bliss. And I want to talk to you about guys and numbers. Girls say guys don't listen, but I think it's just because girls aren't using numbers. An example is that a girl will see a truck and she's like, there's a red truck. A guy, on the other hand, will look at the exact same truck and he's like, well, there's a 250 extended cab, V8 engine, 500 horsepower 4x4. And guys are like batting averages and free throw percentages. They're into scores and how much things cost and, you know, even like how much memory a computer has. It's like all these numbers. So if you want a guy to listen to you, you know, you can't just say, I went to a grocery store and someone tried to steal the bag of chips. You gotta say, there I was, on the 50-yard line of the 3rd row in the grocery store. My offense looked good. I was just about to score some chips when out of nowhere, a 250-pound hunger demon intercepted me and left the score 1 for the enemy, 0 for me. Because your husband's or boyfriend is probably going to listen to that. And now that I've told you one story, I want to tell another. Okay. This is called, I don't know if you guys have read, like, If You Give a Pig a Pancake, or those series of events. Well, mine is called If You Give a Man Some Toilet Paper. And I'm sorry if you're on the back row, because you won't see the pictures, and they're amazing. If you give a man some toilet paper, there's going to be an empty roll. If there's an empty roll, the man will remember playing with those as a kid, and he's going to want a new toy. If he wants a toy, it's going to be expensive. If it's expensive, he's going to use the credit card. If he uses the credit card, you're going to want to use the credit card. You're going to go shopping. If you want to enjoy the shopping, he's going to be watching the kids. If he's watching the kids, there's going to be little interaction with them and lots of playing video games and watching movies. If there's lots of watching movies, he's going to want some popcorn. If he has popcorn, he's going to need to use the bathroom. If he uses the bathroom after popcorn, let's be honest, he's going to need some toilet paper. And if you give a man some toilet paper, there's going to be an empty roll. I have one joke I have to dedicate to someone because they commute to Provo on a regular basis. And as we talked a little bit about, okay, what's it like, you know, driving 60 miles day after day, like 60 miles there, 60 miles back. And he said the hardest part is you get tired and it's hard to stay awake. So he has all these tricks. For a while, he was pinching his ear really hard to keep himself awake, but he said that only gave him like 4 minutes. So he figured that if he just takes his knuckle and pounds himself in the leg, he can stay awake for about 10 minutes. And I'm also hoping that worked on you. But I was just thinking, I mean, I don't commute, so I don't know what it's like. But is this normal behavior? Because it just seems crazy, but if it is normal, I kind of want to like make a visor. Or a chart of pain that you stick on your visor. So if you're driving home and you get sleepy, you're like, oh man, I still have 60 minutes left. You just pull down the chart, like, what can I do to stay awake? Well, I guess I'll roll my hand up in the window. That'll give me 20 minutes. Then, let's see, I'm going to need 40 more. I guess I'll just put a lot of pressure on my eyeball until it pops out. And, I mean, I'm tired. When I get home, I'm going to need a nap. But then I'll just hop right over to the emergency room and see what they can do about that eyeball. And speaking of business ideas, because that was a really good one, I'm sure. I once thought, you know, in Utah, you should market to, you know, like the LDS population at some point. I was thinking that'd be great. So I thought, well, I'll make all these t-shirts. Well, I watched a YouTube video about how to silk screen. I was like, that is tough stuff. There's no way I'm going to make t-shirts. But I thought, well, I'll bring my ideas tonight on paper. So one t-shirt idea I had is, I'm a 10 on the inside. Sure as heck not on the outside. Also, if you have friends that are really unattractive and they don't know it yet, like, this makes the perfect gift to drop a subtle hint. I live in the hood, the priesthood. It doesn't actually make a lot of sense, but it sounded clever. This is what celestial looks like. Also nice for girls' camp. I'm more than a special spirit. Ask me about my funeral potatoes. Sometimes you'll be friends with unattractive people for more than 1 year. So maybe like the second year. I have a lot of friends. My heart is big, but my spirit is bigger. And finally, did you just feel the spirit, or should I walk by again? And that's actually all the jokes I have, but it comes with a prize if you've lived through, all of this. Today at Noodles and Company, if you're one of the first 50, you get a free salad. And then you just sign your name and you pass this along and someone else can get a free salad. And my son really wanted me to give it out tonight. So for all of you that aren't heterosexual, apparently, according to the last guy, who's interested in this salad? Okay, come on up. You have to get your picture so he can see who it is. I got his shirt. Do you got it? Yeah. Okay, thank you. You've been great. Have a good night.
Let's keep it going for Jill Foden.